Well, good evening. Welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. How are you all tonight? Here's to you, the red, white, and blue. Those of you who still, remember the red, white, and blue and what it stood for. By the way, how are you all doing in this historical economic boom of President Biden's? Well, that's what his little spokesmanion said today, right? Historical economic boom. Well, I want to talk about a little bit about that tonight, and I want to talk about the chaos that is coming. And I want to preface this whole thing tonight by saying that I am particularly interested in what you all have to say about this. I'm going to cover some things, as I always do, but I want to know what you all think. And by the way, welcome to all of the new people here. Every time I check the numbers are going up, 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 up. We have more and more subscribers, both on the YouTube channel and members over on Patreon. And thank you all so much. A special thank you to those of you who have come over to Patreon, become members. That's when you're a patron, that's what it means. You're a patron. You're supporting what we do on this channel. Now, I know that I put extra stuff over on Patreon, in addition to what I put on YouTube, but in addition to everybody who views the YouTube, you all who are helping support us on Patreon are really the ones driving this, and I thank you so much for that. By the way, as I said, welcome to all the new people. This video, and I have an announcement to make. Some of you are going to be very interested in. This video is brought to you by the Stonemont Series. It's not brought to you by, if you saw an ad on the beginning of this, and it was from some stupid thing like Sandy Hook Promise or something like that, no. I don't mind. As a matter of fact, I prefer if you skip those because they don't at all align with what we believe here, so skip them. But this video, as are all the others, are brought to you by the Reversion, after which this channel is named, my first book, and the other books of the Stonemont series. And I'm going to take just a moment to explain to any of the new people and people who may not know what the Stonemont series is. A lot of people don't realize I'm a writer. That's what I do for a living. And I don't make my living off of YouTube or Patreon or things like that, but I developed, matter of fact, I started my first YouTube channel simply as a way to talk about the books and to explain some things in there. And so I just got a new shipment of books. The different books are The Reversion, The Revival, The Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, and The Blessings of Freedom is the most recent one down there. What they're about, even though this isn't a preparedness channel per se, it's important, as all of you know, to be prepared for what's coming, and that's what we talk about. This series, I explain how to become a self-reliant. Now, what does that mean? That means that you can pretty much divorce yourself from the collapsing system and still live a good life. Now, is it easy? It's not easy, but it just takes steps, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. A little bit here and a little bit there. And the more that you can take yourself away from depending on a system that we all know is broken, corrupt, and hates us, the better off you're going to be. That's really what this is. That's what this whole story is. It's the story of a family who, as being self-reliant, were able to make it through a total collapse of the world around them, rebuild, help other people, and develop and build new communities according to the principles and foundational constructs on which our country was based and which most of us believe our families, the country, communities should be based. Anyway, the announcement is I just got a new shipment of books in today. So those of you who have ordered autographed copies, those will be going out in the mail to you tomorrow or the next day, just as fast as I can get them signed to you and up to the post office and on their way to you. For new people who may not know what I'm talking about, my books are available on Amazon, and the link is down here, either in the information box, or I have come to pinning a a comment, and it has the way you can order them from Patreon, the links. I mean, from it has how you can join on Patreon first, and then it has where you can get the books through Amazon, either paperback or Kindle. And then it also has a way for you to get autographed copies from me if you would like. You'll get them a lot faster from Amazon, to be honest, if that's important to you. Some people say, well, I want to read it right now, but I also want an autographed copy. So, you can get the Kindle like that, and then you can order the autographed copy from me, and it, takes a little while. I get them out as fast as I can, but, I'm not in the shipping business. But you'll get them. So that's the way you do it, if you'd like to do that. So those of you who have ordered them, they'll be on their way tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to have another kind of interesting, kind of exciting for me announcement pretty soon on that too. Something extra. You all see what's coming on. You all seen everything that's going on around. Chaos is coming. Total chaos is coming our way. There was a Russian general whose name I don't remember, who is quoted as saying that America wins all its wars. Well, this was back when America won its wars. Because war is chaos, and the American military practices chaos on a daily basis. Well, I think there's a lesson in that, right, isn't there? Chaos is upon us. Chaos has been coming for a long time. Now, the interesting thing is, the other side dwells in and thrives on chaos. We on our side, we are responsible. We're, for the most part, methodical. The term conservative, as it can apply to us, not necessarily. I don't call myself a conservative. I call myself a traditionalist, because there's not a lot in what's going on now that I have any desire to conserve. We don't like chaos. It's not. We build our lives so as to avoid chaos, because we want a solid foundation, right? A solid foundation for our institutions, for our families, for our businesses, for our country. And the destruction of that stability is the chaos brought by the other side. They thrive on it. We're entering a very dangerous time here. They know that they are about to have a bloodbath in the off-year elections. They know it. They don't know what to do about it. There's nothing they can do about it. Occasionally this happens to the left, to the communists. They realize that, the people are stupid for the most part. That doesn't apply to you all. Most of the American people are so uninformed or misinformed that they can be easily led or driven by whatever emotional carrot or stick we decide to use, right? They know that. They count on it. Somebody said in a comment on the other channel, I am shocked to find out that you are a PBR drinker. Well, I drink American beer. My first choice is Schlitz. My second choice is Lone Star. And my third choice is PBR. As long as it's American, I used to not mind Budweiser until they were bought by a European company. I don't drink Budweiser anymore. So they know they're headed for a bloodbath. Inflation is coming. Inflation is already hitting hard. They're lying about inflation, as we've talked about before. It's not 8.5% like they're trying to claim. I would peg it between 20 and 25%. Simply because, as most of you all know, they don't include fuel and food in the inflation figures because they're just too volatile, and it makes it easier for them to hide the true inflation. But when you add in food and fuel, and of course food is responsive to fuel prices, as is everything else, I would call the real inflation rate at between 20 and 25%. How long can you or most people sustain your current lifestyle with that kind of devaluation of your money, right? If people are just eating through, they're getting less for their dollars, they're going through their credit, they're going through their savings, they're going through everything, trying to maintain their lifestyle, because to a lot of people it doesn't seem real yet. Okay, they don't understand that the real estate market is softening, and is softening quickly, and it's about to go down real fast. They don't understand that the stock market is now into bear territory. It's come off 20% off of its recent high, and it's not rebounding. I think we're headed for a bear market for a year and a half. I mean, I'm not a financial advisor, but I pretty much know what I'm talking about because I've paid attention. Somebody says, how do you know these things? Because I'm old and I pay attention. And if you ever get old and you've paid attention, you'll know some things too. So they know that things are collapsing. It's why they're putting through this phony little January 6th thing. It's why they're pumping up this so-called insurrection stuff. It's why they're coming through with all of these gun control bills. They know it's not going to go through, okay, but it's something to fight on. And they are anticipating an overruling of Roe. I mean, if you were a lib, you couldn't imagine a much worse day than what's coming for them in the normal scheme of things. See, but that's the thing. They're not normal. We're normal, but they're not. Now, people need to understand that who's calling the shots are way up there. They are so far above these little idiots, protesting and yelling and screaming and rioting and burning and all this kind of stuff. Those people, most of them would never understand who's pulling their strings. And of course, the string pullers, the puppeteer, wants it that way. And so what the puppeteers see right now is a potential collapse, finally, should I say, an enlightening of so many of the American voters that is going to threaten their continued little march towards communism. Well, they can't have that. And they also know that they don't have anything in their little toolbox that they can pull out and make it look better to the American people. It's going to happen. There's going to be a bloodbath. There's going to be an overturning of the control in the Senate and the House. I mean, yeah, I know. They could cheat. They could cheat. Has it ever happened before, right? And they might. They might. But what happens before then is what's important, because they can't depend on that. So here's what I think they're going to do. They are depending on their victimhood. Okay? They're waiting for Roe. Actually, the ones way up there are probably hoping that Roe will be overturned. Because they don't care. They don't care one way or another. They want control. They want control of the country. They want control of the monetary system. They want control of the people. They want control of the government. They want control of the healthcare delivery system. They want control of everything. And they know that if Roe is not overturned, it's going to take away some of the fire, right? It's going to pull oxygen out of the fire and the anger of the people. They don't want that. They want their little followers to be inflamed. So they want whatever will inflame their followers. And you know what that is? That is an overturning of Roe. So whenever that comes down, if it comes down next week or the following week, how much more time do we have in the Supreme Court? I don't know. I don't even know what date it is today. That's the beauty of being a retired person who writes books. I don't know what day it is. And you know what? You know what the important thing is? It's today. live today. So the only chance that they have is for the left to be so incensed, so enraged, so ignited that through their perceived victimhood, they will explode. And I think that's what will happen. I think that's what will happen. The last summer of love that we saw, I think, could pale in comparison to what could be coming this year. Later in the summer, as soon as Roe decision comes out, and into the election season. And the little people on the bottom will think that they are rioting and burning and pillaging and destroying and everything for the greater good. Oh, by the way, I'm going to throw something in here. Some of you probably watch Patriot Nurse. I don't watch her all the time, and occasionally I do watch one, and it's brilliant. She put out one today that was brilliant. And I'm going to put it over. You can find it yourself. I mean, you can certainly find it. I think it was something about why you can't argue with liberals or something like that. And you can certainly find it yourself. But I am going to put it over on, I'll link it over on the Patreon page. And the Patreon, again, the Patreon channel is kind of a community. It's a core community that supports American Reversion channels and our efforts. So it'll be over there. If you'd like to join us and watch it. But if you're already over there, please do watch it. However you get to it, please watch her video that I put out today or yesterday sometime. It's brilliant, and she's exactly on target. The difference is how liberals think differently. And most people don't understand that. Most people who remain under the misconception that liberals can be reasoned with, that you can present evidence and it will change their minds. That's not true. That's not true, and there are reasons for that. She hits on them very well. So this is what they want. They want to use their victimhood, because a liberal never feels as good as when they feel like a victim, right? And so this is going to fulfill their victimhood need, believe me. And it is going to make this country explode. Now, what happens as a result of that? You would think that most rational adults, of which America used to be made up of which I used two ofs in that sentence, I'm sorry, if any of my English teachers are still alive, who would be amazed that the guy who slept through their class has written 5 books. I know that I used of twice in that sentence. Relax and sit down. I will not call on you. Our country used to be made up of rational thinking people. No longer. That's long gone. Some of us remain, you and me, and some of your friends, and some of my friends, right? The rest of them out there have to be goaded and prodded and directed and led and driven and convinced and all that. And if they have still a couple of brain cells that are functioning, sometimes you can have make an inroad in there. Not if they're already liberals, because the brain cells are already gone. So as I said, if our country was still made up of those, we would have a chance to convince enough people that as they make our country explode, as they start destroying more of what our country is, economically, security-wise, southern border, food shortages, inflation, declining stock market, real estate market, lost jobs, all of these things. Trying to get us into a war in Europe again. They don't understand this, and they are going to respond emotionally. So as I'm sorry, I kind of went circuitously. Let me bring that back and do that again. Most people would used to understand that when these people try to destroy our country, they're bad and they should be done away with, and that should be voted out, and try to straighten this ship out, right? The problem is there are far too many people in our country now who don't think, they just feel, and they base it on emotions. And as this other side builds and cries and whines and screams and cusses and attacks our foundational principles, too many of our voters are going to say, you know what? I kind of understand that. I understand their rage. I understand their, yeah, that's not right. I want social justice too. And therein lies the danger. You know, danger hides behind the bushes of ignorance, right? So that's what I believe is coming. A summer and a fall of chaos, designed to destroy and confuse the American situation to the extent that if they will win, they will retain control of the House and the Senate, which would be historically unique, or if they don't, will provide them and other people, it will provide them with the ability to continue the destruction of our country because of their claim to victimhood, and it will appeal. It will appeal to far too many Americans. That is our long-term danger. That is why I don't think we can right this ship of state. But we have to continue to fight. Just like in a ball game, you know, when you know you're going to lose the game, you don't go back to your car and go home. You keep playing. You keep playing. For a number of reasons. First off, it's the right thing to do. Quitting is not the right thing to do. But you still have a chance to develop your skills, to see who's got what, who's got the stamina, who's going to stick with it. Okay? And even as this thing goes down in flames, perhaps, we don't know, I keep fighting because I want to use that time to build whatever it's going to take to come back. Does that make sense? Because people ask me that a lot. Why, if you think it's all going to the dickens, why do you keep, fighting? Well, that's why. That's why. Okay, I'm going to leave that to you. That's my opinion. Like I said, I want to hear what you all have to say. Last thing here are the books. I'm going to keep, this is going to be my permanent sponsor, whether or not YouTube puts on ads or not, because you all would love these and you'll get a lot out of them. Like I say, the ways to get them is down there. Do let me know about, and please spread this. I'm not a very good marketer of my own videos. I know that. Please spread this. Spread this around to people you know. Spread them to friends. Get them, ask them, what do you think about this? Well, maybe they'll say, we need to get a little group together and start talking about this on a monthly basis, and kind of form ourselves up into to a support system for ourselves and maybe for others. That's how it's done. Okay. But anyway, spread it around, share it, and let me know your ideas about this, because I know you all are sharp. America needs something. I'm not going to change the name of the channel. I had too many people. It came down after a lot of comments. Keep reversion instead of something else. But America needs something. Whatever it needs you to be a part of it. It needs me to be a part of it. And it needs us to get however many people we can to be a part of it, to either turn this thing around or at least soften the landing while we get ready to build something else the way we want it, right? Okay. You all have a great night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.